Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another episode of the Real Connection podcast. I am your host, Sean Santoro, mortgage agent with TMG, the Mortgage Group, and I am joined once again by my co-host, Dave McCall. Dave, say hello to the folks.
Hello, folks, and how are you doing today, Sean?
Oh, just rocking and rolling. As you know, I am always going. But today we are very lucky. We have Sam Clark from Toolcans. He is going to be helping us out, giving us some knowledge on what he does, where the value is, why people are calling him, and on how he's here to make people's lives a little easier, one job at a time. So, Sam, for people that aren't familiar, tell us a little bit about yourself and your company, and kind of what do you do?
Yeah. Hey, how's it going, guys? Yeah. So it's pretty difficult to explain what we do. We're basically a mobile handyman service that goes around from southwestern Ontario. We've had jobs all the way up to London. We perform services in Detroit as well.
Okay.
But we're mainly mobile. So basically, you go to Home Depot, any of the big box stores, and you buy a product like a towel bar, and you have not the first clue how to hang it. You can call us; we can walk you through it. Or better yet, you make an appointment with us. We come there, we set it up for you, yeah, we
So,
do the crumbs of the cookie basically.
Sam,
We don't do the whole cookie, but we do the crumbs.
Gotcha.
We don't do any heavy renovations, but we do, you name it, we do it.
so it doesn't matter how small the job is, you're in there. See,
We're
that's
in there.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
that's really great because there's a lot of companies out there that when you call them and say, "Hey, I got this little job here," and they go, "Sorry, we don't do
Nah.
that. It's
Yeah.
just not worth our time." And there's a lot of people who, like myself, I have an agreement with my toolbox. I stay away from it. It stays away from me. We're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when it comes to things like the small things like that, it's great to have somebody to reach out to. Now, what got you
Yeah.
into, have you always been a handy guy, or was it a dad
Well,
thing?
I guess it all stems from being poor. How to be self-sustaining a little bit, right? So, no, I grew up with like putting Legos together and trying to figure out how things work, and then reverse engineering them, and then um, basically just playing around and
Mhm.
learning through trial and error. Yeah, it's
You kind
I
of
don't
learn
know.
what
I
you
just
like to
enjoy
do
it.
as you do it. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Like
I
it's
enjoy doing this work. I enjoy it a lot. A lot of people don't know I work a full time job in the auto industry.
okay.
Uh, right now, I'm on afternoons this week, so I wear all the hats before I have to go in on afternoons. Everything from marketing, doing the work to making sure the guys are going to the jobs and showing up on time and whatnot. Um, but I enjoy doing this whether than being in a factory.
Mhm.
Not saying the factory's not a great job or any of that. It's just it's uh, it's hard to keep up with both, and I'm learning to try to capitalize on something that I love doing.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
what's the
That
biggest? What's the biggest job you've done?
Oh, biggest job. I mean, I guess so. We work with a lot of realtors, trying to get the house up to par before they take the pictures and whatnot. I guess a lot of the painting aspect of what we do is the big jobs, but I did happen to have one fun job, and it was basically giving a mural a facelift on top of a building. That was pretty cool. I'm not going to
okay.
name the name of the building for privacy purposes, but it was pretty interesting to do. I mean, the template was already there. I'm just basically
So you
giving a
guys aren't
facelift.
afraid of doing anything.
No. I mean, obviously, safety comes first. There's height restrictions. We do work in the rain, but there's lightning in the air within like a 5 mile radius. We do not work.
Mhm.
Insurance doesn't cover, lightning strikes.
Right.
So yeah,
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
there's certainly lots of concerns there for sure, right? If you're doing any
yeah,
kind of exterior work, then absolutely. So,
yeah. There's a lot of
um,
factors.
yeah. No, again, right? There's tons and tons and tons of people that you know, no fault of their own. They just never had to do it. Maybe never learned how to do it, but like don't know how to change doorknobs. And
Yeah.
that's okay,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
there's somebody that'll do it for you, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, again, right? You've got two options. You can either learn how to do it yourself and try and stumble your way through it, and maybe you end up beating your head against the wall. Something like installing a doorknob. If it's an interior, it's your office door, maybe not the end of the
Yeah.
world. Your exterior door, and you don't figure it out. Well, guess what? Now your door's not closed. Now your door's not locked,
Yeah.
and it's 9 o'clock at night. Like, what are you planning to do here? What's the plan? So
Yep.
absolutely, there's definitely a market for that where people they just don't know, right? And they can stumble their way through it, or it's like,
Yeah.
you know what? There's a service dedicated specifically to this type of thing. We come in, make it happen, and get you back to living, your daily
Yeah,
life.
and not just that. I mean, a lot of people these days are working 2 jobs, 3 jobs. They don't have time. They're
Yep.
raising kids, right? So they rather, spend quality, wholesome time with their family
Yep.
instead of changing that doorknob. Then you call me, I change it in 30 minutes. If it's an older house, older door, sometimes you got to improvise a little bit.
Yep.
But yeah, some people don't know, and some people just don't have time to do these
Do you
things.
get a lot of calls from seniors?
Yes, quite a
I
bit.
can imagine you would, yeah.
Yes, quite a bit. We get a lot of calls for changing out smoke detector batteries, and obviously I'm not going to charge them. I can show them how to do it. If there's a height restriction, I tell them don't get on the ladder. I'll do this for you. Give me a call, day or night, whatever. But yeah, we get a lot of calls from the seniors. I'm a veteran myself, so I get calls from veterans. I always try to hook them up as best as I can.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
It's
Yeah.
it's yeah.
Now the name Toolcan. Okay, now your name is Sam, so I mean
Uh-huh.
Toolcan Sam just sort of comes out there. Where did you guys come up with the name?
So I think it originated. I was living in the South at the time, and I had my kids over, and we were eating breakfast. And it wasn't Fruit Loops, it wasn't any of that. But I was playing around with different names and whatnot. And I remember telling my kids that in middle school they used to call me Toucan Sam. A couple guys, it never really stuck. And then I got thinking, well, how about Toolcan Sam? And it just kind of stuck with me. Next day, I made some cards up. I made a Facebook page, Instagram page.
Before you know it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was on the verge of changing the name. And my girlfriend at the time, my girlfriend currently, said, "No, you're going to run with this. This is a great name. You're going to run with it." And I'm like, nah, I kept asking her, "You don't think it's silly? You don't think it's like a serious business name?" Like, and she's like, "You're not looking for serious. You're looking for wholesome. You're looking for small. You're looking for local business, right? So you want to keep it. Um, I wouldn't say humorous. You
Personal.
want to keep it sticking in people's minds.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think it's great. You guys have a great image. I love the image that you guys use, and without doubt, the name sticks in your mind. I mean, everybody knows the breakfast cereal, so it just sort of clicks in there. It really does.
yeah.
So here's a
So
fun one that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Fruit Loops, though, doesn't have a U in it.
I never
It's
really thought about that.
FROOT, not FRUIT.
Damn. Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
I
all
didn't
right.
know it until later. My
Mind
oldest told me, and I'm just like, get out of here. Like, why would they spell? And I understand why they spell it like that because there's two O's and loops and all that. But I'm like,
Yeah.
there's no way. Like, really? All these years?
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff, and I'm going to jump for this for a second because it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. It's called the Mandela effect.
Okay.
I've heard of this.
Yeah, where basically people think that certain, like, Curious George, does he have a tail or not? Does the guy from Monopoly have a monocle or not? Some people will swear that these images are one way, and they've known it their whole lives, and then they find out it's not. You can look it up. It's really kind of weird.
Does Curious George have a tail, though?
I think he does.
He should. He's a monkey.
But a bunch of people said he didn't. So look it up. It's there's like pages and pages of these things.
I mean, I would imagine if Curious George is a monkey, he should have a tail. If he's an ape, he wouldn't have a tail. I don't believe apes have tails.
I don't remember the last time I went to the zoo. I can't tell you.
Look it up. Look it up. But yeah, so just getting back to Sam here and his
Yeah.
business. Um, so how many guys do you have working for
Segue.
you, Sam? Segue.
We right now we have two, and possibly a third coming, possibly a fourth. I'm meeting with a lady tomorrow to see her skills and abilities. Hopefully, she wants to take on some work. And yeah, I'm constantly needing people. Um, our biggest thing that we strive to be is on-time service, right? So you call me, you just ordered a TV from Best Buy, you don't want, you know, the other
The
people in
Geek
your
Squad.
TV. I'm not gonna name names, but yes.
I can. I'm the host,
Yeah,
so I can do whatever I want.
yeah, yeah. And you call me, and hopefully within 24 hours I can get to you and mount that TV on the wall for you, or one of my guys can mount the TV on the wall. You go to Costco, you buy a gazebo. Hopefully within 72 hours, me or my team can accommodate installing that and anchoring to your and adding it to your backyard oasis. So yeah, we try to be an on-time service. It's really hard to do with such a few guys, and my guys are awesome. Like they take emergency calls, they drop whatever they're doing sometimes, and say, "Yeah, I can be over there within 5 minutes," and I'll let the customer know. Um, but
Now you
yeah,
guys
if you
aren't
guys know
24.
anybody looking for like work and wants to work with their hands and has a good mindset, needs a police clearance, needs a vulnerable security check, though, send them my way.
Now,
Perfect.
you guys don't work 24/7, right?
Starting where I will personally be starting to.
Okay, okay.
That's
That's
valuable. Yeah, because again,
absolutely.
sometimes things happen at 2 a.m. Smoke detector starts
Exactly.
going off.
You, well, you suddenly you get that leak in the tap, and the person has no idea how to fix it. You know,
Exactly. And then most of the time, when it comes to something like that, we just shut it off, and the next day I'll go over there and replace the faucet. But yeah, or I'll walk them through it. I've gotten calls in the middle of the night for a scenario just like that, and I tell them, hey, go underneath your sink and just turn off all the water. Or if you can't find it, go and shut off your main until I get there tomorrow morning or whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I try to walk them through it in the middle of the
Mhm.
night, but sometimes I can't. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, you got to do
so
those house calls. Absolutely.
now do you do? Is it mainly like homes, or is it apartments, or is it just a mix?
it's a little bit of everything. It's the perfect storm sometimes. We do a lot of residential. We do commercial. Eventually, once we get our certificates and all that stuff, we're going to start looking at industrial. Um, Yeah, we it's a little bit of everything: trailers, mobile homes,
Okay.
cottages. Yeah, you name it. Basically any structure, any dwelling, we service.
hmm So, and again, we just had a guest on. We were chatting a lot about Airbnb. Do you get a lot of Airbnb owners saying, "Hey, I've got a cottage at XYZ." Um, the tenants were there. They were complaining that this
hmm
toilet is leaky faucet or something. Who knows? Do you get a lot of those or?
I've had a couple of those, but mainly it's from the landlord. So it's mainly rental properties. But
Gotcha.
Airbnbs, I think I've done a couple. I did one out in Lakeshore, one out in Kingsville, but not a whole lot. Not a whole
Yeah.
lot, no.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, that could be absolutely be another spot. So you said you go from Windsor, inclusive of Detroit, up to about London. That's kind of your
Yep.
window where you're kind of
Chatham.
focusing in. Gotcha.
Yes.
Now,
Okay. Yeah.
So we're about maybe a 45-mile radius.
Yeah.
Uh, London, it's going to be hit or miss depending on the job. Um, but yeah,
is it
some jobs
mainly
you can't turn down.
Windsor Essex,
It's
or
mainly in Windsor, Essex, and then we're starting to get into Detroit a little bit more often now. It helps for me being an American citizen across the board with my tools. Um, my other guy, he's an American citizen as well, so I'm trying to get his feet wet over there to start taking on jobs in Detroit. So yeah, I've even, I've done work privately, not under Toolcans, but in Kentucky and Ohio as well.
hmm
But eventually, uh, the long range forecast, I would like to do the Midwest as well.
Okay.
But I need guys. I need guys badly.
So, being from Kentucky, what brought you out to Windsor?
Oh shit! Here we go. I met a girl. I was in the Marine Corps for 4 years. Four years active.
There's always a girl in the story.
Right, right. I was going through a rough time. I was living in California. Met a girl from St. Clair Beach, but she was out there vacationing in California. She had some friends out there that was living out there, and we met up right before I went to Afghanistan. Um, One thing led to another. We kept in touch. We wrote letters while I was in Afghanistan, and my contract number was up. Basically, I was planning on doing my 20 years of service and retiring. I should have been retired right now, actually, um, but that didn't happen. So I decided, you know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go see what Canada's all about. Learn how to ski, and still haven't learned how to ski.
Not a whole lot out in these parts, but
Yeah, yeah. Uh, but yeah, I stuck around. I made the best of things. I had multiple jobs. When you first come to Canada, you don't have a SIN number, right? So you had to kind of, shouldn't be saying this, but work under the table, anything that you can do. And I did land one job that I was literally knee deep in shit doing septic tanks out in the county. Um, and
Well, when you need money, you'll do what you got to do.
Exactly, right? And I had a child on the way. So, anyways, off on that tangent. Still here. Unfortunately, the girl that I met in California that brought me here, we got married, 2 kids, and a failed marriage later, and here I be. We're very amicable. I have a girlfriend. Girlfriend is like a mom to my kids, and
awesome.
We're making the best things. And yeah.
So you're growing a business, trying to make a life for everybody there.
Exactly, right? I'll probably never be a rich man, and I don't strive to be a rich man. But to have something to give to my kids one day is my biggest goal, and I think this is probably the only thing I can afford to give to my kids is this company. And this company is not about making money. Like I said, it's about leaving something to my kids, something they can be proud of, something they can do, right? So, yeah.
I really like the whole feel of the company. Is that you're working with, for want of a better word, the little guy. A lot of companies will leave the little guy stuck. I need a new like I said, a new small thing. My dad's 93, right? So we need to put something in the shower for him, so he the support bars or whatever else.
Grab bars, yes.
Other companies, they don't want anything to do with it. They'll tell you get the kit and do it yourself. Things like that. It's nice to know that there's a company out there that'll take care of the little guy no matter what the situation is.
Yeah.
And there's just not enough of that around as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I try to do like the little hashtags on the bottom of each advertisement. Blue collar, we're blue collar all the way. Our way of life right now is built by blue collar guys. That got their hands dirty and built the infrastructure that we have around us. So anything I can do and my company can do for the little guy, we're going to do it. And if the day I pass something like that up is the day I shouldn't be in business.
I find it really odd. I really do. That you're having trouble finding people who want to get into a hands-on business.
Well, I would say I'm having trouble. It's finding the right people, finding the right people that will not destroy your reputation, that have a good head on their shoulders. There's a lot of people. I'm not saying that they're rare to find. It's just
you're looking for a particular type of mindset.
Exactly. I'm OCD. If you have OCD, that's number one. You're probably going to get hired, right? So, quality.
Attention to detail, for sure.
Attention to detail. and just anybody that I see as a liability, I can't do.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
Well,
risk.
no. I used to own
Yeah.
part of a moving company, and so I do understand that you have people out there who are working with other people. You're not there at the time, so they're representing the company. They're representing you. They're representing your morals and ethics and everything else. So you got to find the right people that are going to match well with your vision for the company and the type of feel that you're trying to create. So no,
Yes.
I understand where you're coming from.
hmm Well, like right now, like this is basically our peak season, so we're busy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but come the winter months, things might slow down, and that scares a lot of people off. I can't guarantee people 9 to 5 jobs, but I can get guarantee steady work.
Mm-hmm.
For a little bit at least. Wintertime, say inflation goes up another 3%, people aren't going to want to spend money on paint. People
Mm-hmm.
aren't going to want to repair their decks, right? So it's going to come in waves. And ideally, the people that I would like to have is retired guys, retired girls, looking for a few extra bucks who are good with their hands, and basically just want something to do, right? So
Yeah.
that's idea. A lot of the guys that I talk to or try to hire on, they want to be millionaires overnight, and that's not the mentality I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of
At
that
all.
nowadays. There really is. There's a lot of the I want the quick money, the big money, and I want it now, and I don't want to actually have to work for it. I just want it to come to me. Um,
Yeah.
I run my business network, and I talk to a lot of businesses, and I run into that particular situation with a lot of business owners going, we're trying to bring people in, but they want to start at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They want the big bucks right away.
hmm
And if they can't get those big bucks right out the get go, they're gone, or they're not doing, if they are there, they're not doing as good a job as you'd like. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
do understand what you're saying with finding the right mindset and the right person. It's
Yeah.
you know
Yeah, and I could see how, it's almost an error in programming, for lack of a better word, is programming mentality nowadays is you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it well. No, I just need to be good enough. Just good enough for this. Well, okay, there's certain limitations to where, just good enough is okay. If you're making your bed, okay, I don't need like 18 and 2 corners. It doesn't need to be perfect 45-degree angle fold. Like you're about to get in it in about like 12 hours. So not here to, mess around
Yeah.
with you. But if you're painting somebody's wall, I expect the corners to be reasonably tight. It doesn't need to be a Monet, but it needs to be well
done
done,
well. Yeah.
right?
It needs to be
And
pristine.
exactly, right? Like people
Yeah.
are paying you to do a job. If it's going to be haphazard, as a business owner doing that, I would be like, I'm going to make the expectation that you're going to make it look better than if they had done it themselves. And I know I've seen
Exactly.
a lot, right? And a lot of people in your similar kind of industry have said, man, I've shown up to jobs where they hired a guy that they found on Kijiji or this or that. And it's just like, there's paint all over the place. And I walk into places where there's paint jobs and I'm just like, they don't know how to use tape.
Yeah.
They don't have a,
No, and you know what? And
they don't
I
have
and
a
I try to tell
trowel.
people all the time, everything that you do. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but everything
No,
that you do, you're putting your signature and backing it on it,
exactly.
right?
Totally.
Like most famous painters, they're gonna sign because they're proud of what they just did, right?
Mhm.
Uh, I need people that are proud of what they do.
I can use
Yeah.
a quick example here, Sam. I hired a company because I told you I don't. Me and my toolbox. Uh-uh. Um,
Best friends.
yeah. um, I just keep it around for show, just to tell my wife
Yeah.
I've got one. But we put a light in the kitchen, right? It's an electric fan. So I hired
hmm
somebody to come in and put it in. It's got a remote control on it, right?
hmm
So they came in, they put it up, it looked good. That light goes on and off by itself all the time. We'll be sitting in the other room playing cards. We were just doing it last night. My granddaughter and I and my wife were playing cards. Light was on in the kitchen. Suddenly, light went off. Nobody's in the kitchen. The light goes on and off by itself. So there must be a short in there somewhere,
Yeah,
right?
you definitely need yeah. You know who
So,
the
but
my go-to guys for something like that is Bell Electric out of Riverside. They're amazing, small family business. They're honestly amazing. Like, some things I can and some things I cannot do, and the cannot do's they will get it done.
mhm.
So
Well, and you see,
yeah.
that's what it is. You need somebody who, when you hire somebody to do a job, you know, it's
Hmm.
being done right. You know,
Yeah.
and that's but I'm living with an example of people who just came in, did the job, got paid, and got out, didn't really
Hmm.
care. You know,
Hmm.
I called
Yeah.
them back afterwards, and I left like 5 messages, never got a call back.
Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah. See, that's
So
bad business.
it is, and
Yeah.
this is why I really like what you guys are doing, because it's not just a matter of getting a job done or trying to get as many jobs done as we can. It's getting the job done and getting the job done right.
Mhm. Yeah.
Getting there on
Now,
time.
yeah. Yeah, and like I'll tell customers all the time, like if I don't know how to do something, I'm gonna tell you that I don't know
Hmm.
how to do it, and here I'm gonna find the people that can get it done for you. If I'm not confident in my abilities to get that done for you, I'm gonna let you know.
Hmm.
A lot of guys, a lot of like we're handyman, we're different from contractors,
Hmm.
um, but a lot of guys, like you said, they just go there, they do the work, and they half-ass, and that's not what I strive to be. If I screw up, I'm gonna let you know, and I'll probably be out money because I'm not going to charge you if I screw up,
Hmm.
right? But
Which
yeah,
is
a lot
honorable.
of people,
Yeah.
it's one of those things because I don't want to lose their business, and I'm being a man and telling you, hey, I screwed up, because I
Hmm.
know they're going to call me and say, hey, at least he was being honest. We'll let him paint in the wintertime,
Hmm.
right, or something like that.
Right.
Um, yeah, it's one of those things.
Well,
No,
no,
that
You
and
keep
that
it
makes
real with
sense.
people. You keep it real with people, and they're going to keep it real with you.
Yeah.
and the thing is,
And then
and this is
yeah, go
something
ahead.
that you obviously understand, is word of mouth is gold. For any
Hundred
small
percent.
business, for any business, but for any small business, word of mouth is gold. If somebody calls you up and says, "Hey, I need this job done," you show up, on time. You do a good job. You get paid, and you say,
Hmm.
"Hey, need anything else? We're here for you." You're going to get reference calls. You know,
Yes,
um,
of course,
and
of
and
course.
that's word of mouth is gold. Obviously, the company that I hired, or the person that I hired to do the light, I wouldn't recommend for any reason whatsoever.
Hmm. Yep.
So I mean, lot of companies nowadays, and Sean and I have talked about this, they're forgetting about you know um, the long term effects. They're just trying to get the money now, get the job done,
Mhm.
get the money now, and move on. And it
Service,
really
man. Service
it
all day
is
long.
Service.
it
Yeah.
is.
Well, just like we were saying earlier about my company name, it sticks out in people's mind. When you go to that job site or do that site visit, you want the person needs to stick out to that person, stick
Sure.
out in their head, right? So be personable, be polite. You don't want to overtalk. You don't want to undertalk either.
Mhm.
Um, you kind of have to profile the customer and get their vibe. If they're not
Mhm.
happy, you ask them, "Hey, is my service up to par?"
Mhm.
And then if it's not, you fix it free of charge. But you want to stick out to them, right?
Mhm.
Just like anything, you see that red Ferrari, you don't really look at it because it's a Ferrari. You look at it because it's red,
Mhm.
Right.
right? It's
Catches
shiny
that.
red.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No,
yeah.
that's perfect.
So
Well,
now,
I
I'm just going to ask one question before we go here, Sean, because I know we
Mhm.
got time crunch going on here. But what's the plan for expansion? I mean, are you looking to expand quickly? Are you taking it nice and slow? Are you?
Well, I try not to kiss and tell here, but it's I think it's you got to crawl before you walk, and I think at this point we're walking. Eventually, we want to run, and eventually we want to start running marathons,
there you go.
and that's that. So
Nice.
we are looking at possibilities of definitely some wiggle room for expansion in the next 5 years.
Excellent,
Perfect.
excellent.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Nice. Well, again, I know you are a busy man. You got people calling. People need stuff done. So we will let you get back to your day. But Sam, thank you very much for coming on. We appreciate your time.
my
Um,
pleasure.
Yeah, man, absolutely. We will absolutely make sure we push your name out there and let people know they need help. They need handyman services. Toolcans, way to go! Call them up. They're real people. They're absolutely willing to help and honorable and honest. Those are the two big ones for
That's
me.
that's
It's
the
just
important part.
like I don't need you to be the best plumber in the world. I don't need you to be the best whatever in the world. I need you to do a decent job and take pride in your work. And then I need you to be honest. That's the two big ones for me because price
100%.
is what you pay, value is what you get. That's the big one, right? And so
That's it.
it's nice and refreshing to see somebody that thinks similarly. And as a small business owner, you're doing all the right things trying to build that way. So good for
I
you.
appreciate
But
it. Thank you.
absolutely, thank you for coming on. So we've got Sam Clark from Toolcans. Anybody needs some help, give them a call. Check them out on Facebook. Like their page and
Oh, Sam, what's the website address?
Oh, it's www.toolcans.com.
perfect. Awesome. Toolcans.com. Check it out, guys. Dave, say hello or say goodbye to some folks here.
Bye, everybody. It's been great. Love to hear the story, Sam. And I just have to say, I'm really impressed and really proud that you're in Windsor because it's a great addition to the community.
Well, I appreciate it, and I'm happy to be here.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, signing off, everybody. Take care until you see you on the next one. But I'm Sean Santoro, mortgage agent with TMG, the mortgage group, and Dave McCall, my co-host. And we were lucky enough to have Sam Clark here from Toolcans today. So thank you guys, everybody. Thank you for tuning in and check us out on the next episode of the Real Connection podcast. See ya.